Hey there, welcome back to Tone Chase Basement. So, not long ago I did a video on one of the weirdest ambient reverb pedals ever, the Eventide Black Hole, and honestly I thought it couldn't get any wilder than that, but oh man, I was so wrong, because today we are looking at something that is part pedal, part synth, part sci-fi noise machine, and part haunted vintage radio, and it's the Eventide knife drop, and this thing is not normal. And I mean that in the best possible way, but before we get any deeper lost in its wild sounds, please hit that like and subscribe to the channel, as this is what keeps this channel going on, so thank you for that. Now, Eventide has built a reputation on doing things that most pedal companies just won't even attempt. Their stuff doesn't just sound good, it changes the way you approach your instrument. So you don't buy an Eventide pedal to sound conventional, you buy it to find sounds you didn't even know you were looking for. And in this case, they've teamed up with Third Man Records, which is, for the uninitiated, is Jack White's record label, art house, retro mad scientist lair, and general HQ of analog weirdness. So yeah, this pedal is a Jack White signature, though not in the usual sense. There is no picture of him on the box, no preset Seven Nation Army tone. This is more like a manifestation of Jack White's musical spirit, raw, unpredictable, a little scary, and completely addictive, you'll see. Now I'm gonna be real with you, getting to demo this pedal is kind of a dream for me. I've been a huge fan of Jack White since I first stumbled across the White Stripes as a teenager. That red and white thing, the stripped down garage riffs, the sheer weirdness of it all, I was immediately hooked. And what I've always loved about him is how he combines old school gear with aesthetics, with this eerie futuristic edge. His guitars look like they were built in the 60s, modified in the 80s, and played in a David Lynch movie. His tone is bluesy and broken, and then suddenly out of nowhere it's like a UFO crash landing into a Motown session. And there's this gothic Victorian laboratory meets space station vibe to what he does, and the knife drop pedal, it fits that vibe perfectly. So what is this pedal? Well, that's a tricky question. Technically, it's an octave fuzz synth modulator, but that feels like calling a roller coaster transportation. Yes, it manipulates pitch, yes, it adds fuzz and sub-octaves, yes, it has filters and modulation, and Eventide's glitchy pitch tracking, but it's also a portal, a chaos box, a storytelling tool. You can make it sound like a broken mellotron, a malfunctioning computer, a down-tuned baritone guitar trapped in a fax machine, or just straight up analog synth madness. Now let me give you a quick taste of what this pedal is like, but first here comes the clean tone. And here comes the pedal. Yeah, so it's that kind of pedal. You don't ask it to behave, you just ask it to be interesting. So let's take a look at the controls real quick, and don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with the manual style rundown. This isn't a lab code demo. Honestly, I am not really able to call up the same sounds twice on this thing, as it just always somehow forces you to keep on experimenting a bit more with it. So there are the three main knobs with a main and a secondary function. You can set the secondary functions while holding this button next to them. And there are two foot switches, one to engage the effect and the other to add the octaves on it. And also two other buttons for selecting the distortion pre or post the effect, and the other one to choose between and double octave, so up and down, or just the octave up. So that's it. Let's do a deeper dive into a few sound examples, and I'm going to show you how it handles riffs, ambient textures, synth-like drones, and a few just completely chaotic settings, because chaos is the point. So let's get experimental with it. So let's engage the pedal and hear how it sounds. So the first knob is the synth. So you can, when it's engaged to max, then it's a complete synth sound without the guitar's actual sound. But when it's reduced, then you can hear the guitar sound as well. So let's play around with the attack a little bit. Just exactly like a Jack White kind of solo sound. Okay, so there's a cutoff, which is like a high pass filter. So if you play around with it, it's like an auto filter kind of sound. With a softer attack. You can add a drive to it as well. Let's reduce the attack. And play around with the resonance. Like an octave fuzz kind of sound. Yeah, since we are at the octaves, then you can see that here, when it's red, then both octaves up and down you can hear. When it's green, you can hear only the upper one. And also with this active, so when it's red, then the distortion is after the effect, but when it's green, then the distortion, the drive, is added before the effect, so it's a different sound. So let's compare it. With this red mode, you can hear it's more woolier, because in the green mode, the drive is compressed by the effect. Okay, so with the pedal, you can get some factory presets, these cards. So what it looks like is that you can choose any of these and you can just put it on the pedal actually. And you can see here on the knobs, next to the knobs, where you can set the controls and try some factory presets. Okay, so what it's like. Really cool sounds. It just sounds so nasty. Let's try another one. Oh, yeah. Let's try one with higher attack level. It's a UFO doomsday sound. Okay, let's try one more. I just love this pedal, so it's so insane, and I turned off the octaves now, so you can hear only the effect. Almost clean sounding like a sitar. Yeah, what can I say? This pedal is just pure awesomeness. I can't stop playing around with it, so... oh man. Eye for an eye, it says. Yeah. So yeah, the knife drop isn't going to replace your tube screamer or be your always on tone shaper. That's not what it's for. This is a statement pedal, and it's for those moments when you want to sound like your guitar is morphing into something else entirely. It's packed with modulation, pitch manipulation, and glitchy artifacts that sound like your signal is being ripped through a VHS tape rewound and then sent through a dying space probe or something like that. Or something that Jack White would whip out during a Third Man live from the Vault session, for example. And what makes it so cool to me is that it feels like it could only have come from this collaboration. So Eventide, the Sonic Architects, and Third Man Records, the analog rebels. Jack White, the guy who makes vintage feel like the future. And it's rare to see a pedal that's actually new, not another clone, not another tweak of a tweak. This is fresh, it's wild, and it has that creative spark that just makes you want to plug in and see what happens. Literally, you are not in control of this pedal. It is like it has its own behavior and it just makes you do things you never thought that you would do, kind of. So if you're into experimenting, if you're into bending sound and chasing strange tones, or if you're just a fan of Jack White and want a piece of that sound world to explore on your own, then the knife drop is worth every second of your time. Alright, I think I'm gonna keep messing with this thing for a while now and see what else it spits out. I just can't stop playing with it. Let me know in the comments what you would run through this: guitar, synths, bass, vocals, or maybe a typewriter. Yes, it can handle a bunch of other instruments as well. It has a line input as well, so not just guitar. And if you dug this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more weird gear, and check out my previous video on the Eventide Black Hole, which is another pedal that pairs insanely with this one. So yeah, see you in the next one. And remember, the perfect tone is always just within reach.